Jai Shivai. So many people have asked me about the addictions, different types of addictions, how they are formed, and then over the period of time, how to get rid of it. So if you have not watched my Sankhya Darshan videos, there are 3 videos of Sankhya Darshan, and I highly recommend that you watch them. It'll help you understand this video in a much better way. Also, if you can watch the list, there is a playlist that I have created for Yoga Darshan of Patanjali. So you can watch all of that. That will also help you understand this video properly. Okay. So the thing is that in my videos, we explained and talked about what is Chitta, right? Chitta is the storage warehouse of sanskaras. Sanskaras are the seeds. Seeds of what? Seed of abhinivesha, which is more like, fear and resistance to change, that kind of a thing. And then raga and dvesha, aversion and attraction. And then we have of asmita, so many identities. And then avidya, ignorance, so many different types of ignorance that we harbor about life, about eternity, about cosmos, about our own existence, right? So these are the seeds of sanskaras. These seeds of these things are called as sanskaras. Now, first time, out of fun or out of, just because there was a company, you got the company to drink or company to do drugs or company to, smoke, you learned smoking, and out of your ego you thought, okay, now I am a man or I am a grown-up woman, I need to, this is a sign of maturity, let me do it. So some people do get into addictions this way. Some people, just because there was some kind of a peer pressure during college time, some people get into it that way. Some people go to drugs or alcohol or smoking out of frustration or sadness within or something. Regardless of what kicked in, which sanskara it has kicked in, that habit. Initially, when the sanskara is creating a vritti for you to actually go and smoke or go take alcohol or go indulge into your drugs, when the chitta vrittis are arising and it's forcing you to do things, it is still something like how when we try to learn a bicycle, initially it's a very conscious process, and then at that time we have a choice to actually ride a bike or not to ride it, to learn it this way or that way, or not to learn it this way or that way, right? At that time, it's a conscious process initially, and we do have a choice for doing that. That means at that time, the prefrontal lobe or the cortex of your brain, prefrontal cortex of your brain is working. When it's still not a habit, is instead you are just doing it initially in the process. Some people it's smoking, for some people it's alcohol, for some people it's drugs, for some people it's even food, for some people it's sweets, eating sweet things, cake, pastries and chocolate and whatnot. For some people it's coffee, for some people it's talking, too much talking, being a chatterbox. For some people, it's like constantly thinking and churning things into the mind. So the addiction could be behaviorally, and from your actions point of view, means from the Kriya point of view. It could be anything, right? Some people get phobia and they keep on washing their hands all the time. If they touch anything, they need to go and wash their hands. So regardless of whatever it is, okay, however severe or mild it may be, like alcohol is or drugs are pretty severe. If you smoke too much, that's very severe. Eating sweets can become very severe. Washing hands, okay, fine. You are scared all the time, but Yeah, it could turn into something very severe. So regardless of what kind of pattern it is that you are getting into, or talking too much, talking chatterbox, so regardless of that, initially when the sanskara is being created, sanskara of doing a kriya again and again, repeating a kriya, it could be sadhana, it could be japa, it could be mantra, it could be tantra, but effects of these things are not negative. That's the difference between, getting addicted of doing your own sadhana, getting addicted to doing a japa. So these things may not give you negative side effects. Yes, in long term, even these things will give you a negative side effect. But anyways, we are talking about general harmful negative addictions here. So initially the process is very conscious, means you do have a choice. Slowly, over the period of time, when you do it over and over again, over and over again, over and over again, you go on repeating it, repeating it, repeating it 100 times, 1,000 times, 2,000 times, 10,000 times. Then after some time, it's no longer a conscious process. In other words, initially the process was voluntary. You had control. But after some time, there's not going to be any control over it. For example, you see how we say that initially when you are trying to ride a bike, you're trying to balance it. At that time, your brain is actually working, your prefrontal cortex is actually working. But after that, it goes into your at the back, medulla oblongata. It goes into the on the back of your head, means it gets into the spinal cord brain or the lower brain that we have, where it becomes mostly involuntary. Means the more you won't even become, you don't have to be conscious in order to do that thing. So this is the kind of a functionality that was given to us, that is inside human beings, so that we can put good things in our habit, and we don't have to be conscious or worried about whether we are doing it right or not. And we don't have to put 100% focus on those things. And that includes brushing your teeth, taking a shower in the morning, or cooking at times, or doing anything else. So in a way, this functionality is helpful. But most of the time, those who are walking their spiritual journey, this ability shows its ugly head. It's a very negative, very harmful functionality. And you may be surprised to know that, lot of people, those who attained samadhi, whatever their habits were before, whatever their addictions to food, to walking, to this, to that, to smoking, and to whatever it is, they are retained as it is. Because from the sanskaras, from the chittavrittis, they became vyuthana chittavritti. Vyutthan chittavritti is a type of chittavritti which is usually responsible or running for your day-to-day life. Now, if you don't know what chittavritti is, you really need to watch my Yoga Darshan videos so you understand that. Okay. So it converts into the mundane chittavritti. Chittavritti that takes care of the mundane every day. You don't have to be conscious about it, or you can be as much gone into samadhi and whatever. Still, you will be able to run your life because that chittavritti stays alive. It stays functional in you. Okay. So exactly in the same way, the sanskaras of addiction, when they are actually transformed into your body, at that time, they just become part of mundane. In a way, they becomes involuntary. That is the reason it's very hard to kick off any addiction whatsoever. Ask people to shut up and be quiet. Those who have addiction of talking, ask them to be silent or quiet one day. It's not possible for them. Ask somebody to give up their sweets. Yes, consciously, when they get a disease, diabetes, or somebody who's doing alcohol, and then if their liver is damaged and doctor tells them, okay. So at times I have seen people that despite the physical harm being done to their body, it has so much become part of their involuntary living that they go on doing it. So if it is about smoking, then the moment you are lighting up a cigarette, at that time you have a choice, no matter how much involuntary it has become. And in some ways, you have to, now how to get rid of this sanskara? Well, you have to replace it with something. There's no way you have to adopt another activity or something else, that you have to change your lifestyle and you have to entirely adopt the new you. The you that is a non-smoker, non-alcoholic, non-druggist. So it's about a complete lifestyle change, rewriting that sanskara again, going the route of that chitta vritti which says go drink alcohol, go start talking, go doing this. More conscious you are, easier it is to get rid of any habit whatsoever. The more conscious you are. And how to be more conscious? Well, doing yoga, pranayamas, tapas, right? These are the ways to remain conscious. When you are making that first glass of alcohol, when you are picking that up, if you are conscious at that time, then you have a choice. You can choose not to pick it up. But if you are not conscious at that time, then the pattern will go on repeating through your body as it is. It's something like, going to potty in the morning or taking shower or brushing your teeth. It becomes that mundane. It goes into that storage area of your brain where it just goes on and on by itself. It doesn't require your conscious involvement at all. So during the pattern, you are most unconscious. When that pattern is repeating in you, when that sanskara is repeating in you, playing in you, that you are drinking or eating sweets or smoking or doing drugs or whatever, and whenever that pattern is repeating in you, you are unconscious at that time. So it's mostly about becoming conscious right when that sanskara is about to play. But if you are anyways a person who doesn't stay conscious throughout the day, then, and you can test it actually, that every 10 minutes, 15 minutes, all right, let's take an hour. In an hour, do you remember to consciously take 11 breaths? Consciously breathe. Just take a conscious breath, 11 breaths every hour. That will make you aware of your body. No matter how far your brain or your mind goes on roaming around, you may be sitting in America thinking about Australia, or sitting in Australia thinking about New Zealand. Whatever the case may be, you may be in office and thinking about wife at home, or wife may be sitting here or there thinking about children at school. No matter how much your brain, your mind is roaming around, you can always choose to come back to your body. And for that, the easiest thing is, you don't have to carry anything. You don't have to make a special pose. You don't have to do anything special other than breathing consciously. 11 deep breaths. Each breath taken with full awareness, full consciousness. So be aware, start becoming aware of it. The more you are aware, the more you will have the willpower that I don't want to do it. I don't want this to be the slave of this pattern. I don't want to be the slave of these sweets, this talking, this smoking or alcohol or drugs. I just don't want to be the slave. I want to be free. I want to experience my freedom. I want to live my freedom. Right? So start becoming conscious. The more conscious you are, easier it will be for you to kick off and delete that pattern. It will take time. It's a years and years. It took years to form a habit like that, right? A pattern like that. So it is going to take even longer to quit. But I wish you all a success, and do start paying attention, start becoming more and more aware, and you will be able to do it successfully. Namaste. Jai Shivaya.